Now, you might think, I think, the very encouraging signals from the coalition agreements around freedom of speech and the announcement that the hate speech laws are going to be scrapped, the requirement for universities to have free speech provisions in their policies to ensure that free speech is protected, indeed encouraged on campuses around the country, that the battle for freedom of speech is over. That the censorious push championed by people like Jacinda Ardern, by Andrew Little and Kerry Allen is over. That we're not going to regulate our media so they can only say what the government says, that we're going to stop paying them money to spout government policies. But a really disturbing story has emerged, and it's the sort of story I expect to see in my social media feeds from overseas, particularly from London, from the Met Police in London. To describe it, we are joined now by Jonathan Ayling of the Free Speech Union, who do such good work in bringing instances like this to our attention. Jonathan, can you tell us what this story is about, the story of Lucy?
Good morning, Sean. Well, on Saturday, a passerby in Auckland saw on Queen Street a pro-Palestinian protest going on, and she went into a store nearby, bought an A2 piece of paper, and wrote on it that selective condemnation of genocide is evil. And with that, I think what she was trying to say was, if you're going to make an issue out of what's happening in Gaza, fine, but talk about what's happening in Yemen and talk about what's happening with the Uyghurs and then the other places as well. She stood there silently for a sum total of several minutes, really, and the police came along and said that what she was doing was threatening riots.
Hang on, police came up to her for holding an A2 piece of paper with that message on it.
That's right. Yep, standing there silently, some meters away from the protest. She wasn't approaching anyone. She wasn't harassing anyone.
In a public place.
On Queen Street in Auckland. But, you know, the quintessential place where we say, well, what if you're walking down Queen Street in Auckland?
Yeah.
Police came up to her and said, what you're doing threatens to cause a riot here. They took her sign, tore it in half, and told her to jog on. And she's a barrister herself, so she said, actually, I don't have to do that. I know the law quite well. And there was a little bit of a back and forth. Much of it is available to be viewed because she was recording at that time. David Farab first broke this story, and so you can see it on Kiwi Blog. But the long and the short of it was that she was arrested before too long, and then was put in a police car and detained there for some time. Sean, what you don't know...
Has she been charged?
She wasn't ever charged, no. So they were just making the point that...
they could mess with her.
Exactly. What you don't know, Sean, and what we actually haven't broken the story on yet. Just last night, I was speaking at a function, and I was approached by someone else, and he said, I was also arrested on Saturday on Queen Street by police under very similar circumstances. He was charged. He stands to be, he's going to be in court next Thursday to face these.
This coming Thursday or Thursday after?
The following Thursday, I understand.
Yeah.
And we're looking.
And what's he been charged with?
Virtually the same situation. He had an Israeli flag before the protest. He had gone, so he wasn't a passerby in the same way. It was more intentional. But before the protest, he'd gone to police and said, look, am I allowed to bring an Israeli flag? And they said, we advise against it, but you are allowed. And he showed up, the Israeli flag was taken off him, and he was arrested, and he is facing criminal charges. We're still looking into that one, but these people are coming out of the woodwork of saying, hang on a second, I've got a story like that too. And it's exactly right, as you said in the introduction, Sean. We're thrilled that the hate speech laws, for the fourth time and hopefully for the final time, have been fully buried, and long that stay that way. You know, we've seen this group counting hate speech Aotearoa set up. I don't like the chances of them getting their way, which is over the next 10 years having hate speech laws extended. I don't think they'll get that. We're thrilled that the government has said that universities will have to put in place a free speech policy in order to continue to receive
and we
public
can
funding.
expect groups like the Disinformation Project, who spread it with amazing alacrity, we can expect them to be defunded as well, can't we?
Well, I hope so. I wouldn't want to overstate that. I think probably there's still work for us to do even in the central government space. But I've always said that our biggest fight is not with central government. There are many other areas that we have a lot of work still to do. And Sean, from my perspective, now is not the time to let off the accelerator. Now is not the time to give up momentum. If anything, I think the activists and the media and the public bureaucrats who see central government moving away from this censorial agenda are going to double down themselves now. They're going to go, well, blooming heck, I've got to do it myself, and they're going to start trying to cancel people all the more. They're going to start being more and more problematic in terms of trying to exclude people because of what they think and because of what they say. So in this case, we see that there remains a real problem in the police.
Okay, so where's Lucy's case at? Is she going to complain to the IPCA? What can she do about being detained for no good bloody reason for holding a sign that expressed an opinion?
Sean, for the supporters and the members of the Free Speech Union out there, I would say I think you support a union that is working in a space where no one else in the country at the moment is. And yesterday, in response to Lucy Rogers' claim, I'm not in the country right now. I'm in Australia launching the Free Speech Union Australia. And I said to my team, look, this is the case, go to work. And in an 8-hour day, we had released 8 major documents on this case, and one was we've already filed the IPCA complaint. We've gone to Costa. We've gone to the district commander. There's media across the country today and stuff, and News Talk and the Herald here, of course. And so we have moved on this quite quickly. We've taken it by the horns, and we've had a fairly strong.
And you've
response.
got this other case that really deserves coverage. It is so concerning. It's so obviously wrong.